Hi boys and girls, it's me Butch. My name is Terry David Silvercloud, and I'm 76 years old. I live in Vancouver, British Columbia. Today is the 18th of November 2020, the year of COVID-19. So what I want to try and get done today, because I try to be useful in my old age by, I'm poor but YouTube is free, is to make videos to teach people things they might not know. And I'm an atheist. I think religions are abhorrently evil, so I know a lot about them. And when I encounter some religious types, they're full of all kinds of false stories, particularly about fallen angels, Lucifer, the devil, Satan, pretty much everything that they... get that backlight over there. Pretty much everything they... I'm trying to move so the light behind me is behind me. You know what I'm talking about. You can see it. Where were I? They don't know what they're talking about, so I'm going to try and straighten that out. Now, you'll probably not know this if you're here. If you do, then I don't know why you're here. So where do fallen angels come from? If you want to leave right now, basically they come from one of the books in the Apocrypha of the Bible called the Book of Enoch, which people think was written around 200 BCE. And Enoch was the great-grandfather of Noah. So the book is actually fairly long. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, Section 4, Section 5. And, you know, you can read all of this online. I'm online right now. So where were I? In the New Testament, there was no really need to include they already had Genesis, so, you know, why would they need Enoch? The Book of Enoch describes basically how the earth started, how the Watchers, I believe a couple of hundred of them, were left here to develop the human race, and how they started having sex with the women and produced a race of giants that started tormenting and quite literally eating the humans. And God got mad, and he created the flood, apparently. I just flashed this up here because you'd think I'd be organized, but I'm not. There are angels in the Bible, but not fallen angels. They're mentioned here and there in the Book of Psalms, in Luke, in a variety of places. You'll find them mentioned. But in Genesis, they really briefly, in the Hebrew Bible, they briefly condense all this Enoch story in Genesis 6. When men began to increase in number on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, My spirit will not contend with man forever, for he is mortal. His days will be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days. Those were the giants in the Book of Enoch. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterwards, when the sons of God went to the daughters of men and had children by them. They were the heroes of old and of renown. So there were sons of God long before Jesus showed up, and a lot of misconstruing of facts with Bible thumpers and people who are, religious, is that when they come across this Genesis 6, they say, well, those were angels. The sons of God were angels. Angels are angels. The sons of God, I'm not sure what they were, but angels are evolving spirits, apparently. If you believe in all that kind of stuff, then you want to end up being an angel. Me, I hope I'm dead forever. This was good enough for me. I'm doing my part of the foreverness right now while I'm talking to you. I'm a scientist. I'm a physicist. I have a completely different understanding of reality than you do. But anyhow, the whole thing is that this Genesis chapter 6 is where this entire Book of Enoch was compressed, and so you won't you won't find any mentions of, other than the Genesis, you won't find any of this other Enoch stuff. Enoch is mentioned a couple times in the Bible. So how long have I gone for? Probably going on and on and on and on and on here. Where are we? 5 minutes, not too bad. I yak and yak and yak. My nose is clogging up because I smoked dope, and I just took one of my pills, which is a muscle relaxant and a painkiller, and they all, between them all, they sometimes cause me breathing problems. It'll go away, but bad timing. If my voice sounds funny, my nasal things just clogged up on me. Where were I? Totally forgot where I was. I really did forget where I was. Boy, that was bad. Oh, Lucifer, the devil, and Satan. So they are not fallen angels. First of all, there is no Lucifer, never was a Lucifer, never going to be a Lucifer. Lucifer occurred in Isaiah 14:12, and it was a gross mistranslation of the Greek word phosphoros, and all the basic churches recognized that in the 1980s. And if you have a modern Bible, there is no Lucifer in it. And the Jehovah's Witness removed the word Lucifer. So the only place you'll find Lucifer in any Bible is the Book of Mormon, because they plagiarized when they faked that whole book. They took the King James version, a lot of it, and they copied word for word Isaiah 14:12 from the King James version into the Book of Nephi and the Book of Mormon. So the Book of Mormon is fake, and the Urantia Book, which you've probably never heard of, it's fake too, because they make a really big deal out of Lucifer. Apparently as well read as whoever wrote the Urantia Book. They were well read, but not their religious education was, they didn't know about the Lucifer problem. So my nose has caused me a problem. And the devil and Satan, that's the same word, but it's not a proper name. It's a description. If you think I'm somebody really awful, you could very rightly call me a devil or a Satan, because I'm completely opposed to things you believe and agree with. Jerome in 385, when he was translating the Bible, he likely, would it seem, didn't speak Aramaic, which was ancient Hebrew, but he had access to the libraries at Alexandria and translations of the Bible into Greek. And the Greek Bible sometimes didn't translate the word Satan directly. They just put it word for word into the Greek. But when they did it correctly, they used the word Diabolos, which comes from the ancient Greek dias, coming out of, as a result of, and bolos, the hit, the hurt. So it's a result of some fight of some sort, and substitute words would be enemy. Of course, my mind goes blank when I'm trying to think of those things. So I'm up to 8 minutes. I promise to keep this short. So fallen angels come from the Book of Enoch, which you might want to read if you want to have spaceman conspiracy theories, because it sounds really like a spaceman theory. And there aren't many angels in the Bible. There's the angel guarding the pit in the Book of Revelation, but clearly under the command of God, because it does exactly what God says. So might be in the pit, but and there's other angels. Gabriel is not mentioned directly as an angel. Quite often it's just translated as the man, Gabriel the man. Have I said enough? I think I have. Fallen angels, they don't come from the Bible at all. It's just urban myth and church myth, and all you people who call yourselves Christians, you haven't read your holy books. Jesus, you should read the Sermon on the Mount, because Jesus says, all of you people that go out there saying, didn't I do good works in your name and all that, Jesus said, when the day comes of this judgment, whatever it is, I don't know you. Okay, I hope this works. Up to 9 minutes, I'm going to shut up. It's probably one of my worst videos ever, but I'm trying. I'm going to try and make regular videos, and I'm trying out something new here. So I got to reach up here like this and go click. Bye from Butch. Oh, one more thing. Did I mention me? If you want to know about me, just go to Google and type in my name, David Solarcloud, and and you'll find all kinds of stuff about me on the internet. I'm kind of a Sheldon Cooper kind of guy who's queer and reclusive, and I'm into physics, theoretical physics. Here's a quick one for you. What's inside a cube if you chop the corners off? What's inside the cube is a regular tetrahedron, which is 1/3 the volume of the cube, and the corner you chopped off is 1/6 the volume of the cube. So inside every cube, if you chop off the corners, there's a regular tetrahedron. How about that? You learned a bit of something. So I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to click on the green button here. That camera over there. There's another camera running there. Bye-bye. Oh, I got to click.